All right, man. How you doing? You recovered from that crazy game yet?
I don't know, man. It was a lot. It was a lot to handle, and I still don't even know how I feel about the fact that we're tied. I don't know.
All right. Well, it's a new week. We're on to the Bills. So before we dive in, let's take a second to thank our sponsors. We are sponsored by Greg's production company, Chapter One Films. We're always sponsored by Snyder's Pretzel, and of course by Trey Wayne. So thank you,
Thank you, Trey.
sponsors, for your support. So new segment here, Greg. Are you ready for the Kirk Cousins science fact of the week?
I am.
All
Thrill me.
right. Did you know that there is enough DNA in the average person's body to stretch from the sun to Pluto and back 17 times?
I did not know that. I'm sure Kirk Cousins did, though.
That was your Kirk Cousins science fact of the week. So let's get to headlines. Goodbye, Daniel Carlson. Hello, Dan Bailey.
Oh man. I mean, what is going on in Minnesota, man? It's Blair Walsh, an anomaly, just an amazing kicker that just absolutely fell apart. We get Kai Forbath, who is average at best, kind of like a little shaky, although I still fight for him because he made that big kick against the Saints. And then we get Dan Carlson, who's just the whole time you're like, what is this kid? What is wrong with him? It's like as soon as he gets to Minnesota, he loses his mind. And so, yes, I'm extremely happy he's gone. Really hoping Dan Bailey doesn't, like, for all intents and purposes, he should be a decent kicker. That's all we need. If he is anything but that, I'm just going to give up on the kicking for us. But I'm excited. Hopefully it's good. All right, Danny. Stacey Coley, cut. Kind of a shocker. Aldrick Robinson, we signed him. He's played with Kirk Cousins before. What do you think?
Yeah, that was a surprise. I think we all thought if a receiver was gonna get cut this week, it might be Laquan
Could be
Treadwell.
Treadwell.
But that just goes to show there's more than we see as fans, right? Like they obviously see Stacey Coley in practice every day, and whatever was going on there, they obviously weren't as excited about him as a lot of us were as fans. So that's interesting. But Aldrick Robinson, I'm excited about him. I mean, he's a speed guy for sure. When he was a rookie, he ran like a 4.39 in the 40-yard dash, which is really fast. I mean, granted, I think he's been in the league about 8 years, so he's maybe lost a little bit of speed. But he's definitely a speed guy. He can take the top off the defense. Kirk Cousins has some familiarity with him. If you think about Treadwell had those drops, and then they put Stacey Coley in, and they put Treadwell back out again, and it's probably because they didn't have confidence in really any other option. So hopefully Aldrick Robinson is somebody that they have immediate confidence in. Wouldn't surprise me to see him playing right away. So seems like a good move. Let's see how he does. Speaking of signing players, so Tom Johnson is back in Minnesota. Your thoughts?
I really like Tom Johnson. I thought he had an excellent year last year. A lot of people said it was because he was playing opposite Linval and he got a lot of single coverage. And he was able to take advantage of that, but I mean that's always going to be the case. And now, if anything, he can even if he's coming in for Linval, he's got Sheldon Richardson next to him. I think it's just awesome. I think at every level we're getting much deeper. We signed Mike Hughes when we already had good cornerbacks. We picked up George Iloka when we already had good safeties, and now we're re-signing Tom Johnson, who was an exceptional defensive tackle last year, to a defensive line that doesn't really need any help right now.
Defensive line rotations, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it really is. It's what the Eagles had last year. That's why they were successful. So, I mean, I'm super excited about it. He already knows the system, so I wouldn't be surprised if he starts making big plays, even starting this week. All right, so speaking of our receivers, Treadwell, what do you think? What do you think the deal is with him? Catches his first touchdown, but also has one of the worst drops I've ever seen.
Yeah. Let's give him some credit. Finally catching a touchdown pass, but
Sure.
yeah, that was just as bad as it gets. That's the receiver's worst nightmare. My thing is, I'm not quite in the cut Laquan Treadwell camp yet. I know that some people out there are ready to be done with him. You got to remember he's young. He's been in the league 3 years, but I think he's only 23 years old. He got drafted as a 20-year-old. So got a lot of time to develop. I think he has a lot of potential. I think he's physical. I think that drops haven't been a problem for him for most of his career. And if he had been dropping balls like Troy Williamson did pretty much from day one,
Troy.
that would be a different story. But this is kind of a new issue for Laquan. So I hope we at least give him a few more weeks to kind of play through it. If his head is now all messed up like our kicker's head was, then there might be nothing we can do about it. But I hope, and I still think he can be a contributor. So I hope we keep him around. And at the same time, I hope that Aldrick Robinson is the one out there in crunch time, because I don't know that I trust Treadwell again yet. So we'll see how that goes. Some good news, Greg. Pat Elflein, full participant in practice.
It's awesome, man. It's super great to hear. I was already thinking our O line's trending up. I mean, O'Neal, you got to be happy. O'Neal comes in the fourth quarter to relieve one of our injured players, and our fourth quarter we lighted up 22 points, and he's in that whole time. I think that was awesome to see, just because he's a rookie amongst all things. We get Elf line back. We already have an offensive line that people have mobility where we can slide people around and stuff. Kirk Cousins has been saying he's getting snaps with them, so I think it's the perfect timing for that. Run blocking still needs a lot of help, but the pass protection I think will improve tremendously with Elf line coming back. I think this is a week that we could see him come back too with a kind of a weaker matchup. All right, so NFC is not what we expected exactly. All right, we got two undefeated teams remaining. It's the Bucks and it's the Rams. What do you think?
So I mean, it's not a surprise to see the Rams at 2-0.
Yeah.
But the Bucks, did not see that coming. And the Rams are a scary team. I can't wait to play them in week 4. I think we can beat them, but they are a loaded team for sure. It wouldn't surprise me if they're, in competition for the number 1 seed in the NFC. The Bucks, I'm not sold on yet. Granted, they beat some good teams. It's not like they've been
the Saints.
Yeah, it's not like they've been beating up on the Buffalo Bills, but we'll see. Can Fitzmagic keep this thing happening all season? I don't know.
Ryan McGregor.
Yeah. And the rest of the NFC, the Eagles are down a little bit, but you have Carson Wentz coming back. So I still think the Eagles are going to be a threat. I still think the Saints will get it figured out. I think the Rams will stick around. I'm not so sure on the Bucks, but it's interesting. It's a relief. It sucks that we were 1-1 and 0-1 instead of undefeated, or instead of 2-0. But at least none of the other powerhouses in the NFC are off to a great start either. So it makes it feel like, all right, we can afford to have tied that game. All right, so that's headlines. Next, we have a letter from our favorite correspondent and contributor to the show.
Can some of the other guys send in letters, please?
Yeah, all we ever get is letters from Uncle Louie. So
so sad.
I'm sure he has some thoughts for us. So let's see. So, dear Danny, I heard the news about Daniel Carlson, and I spent the next 20 minutes laughing hysterically. If it was any other NFL franchise, I'd be shocked. But Vikings kickers miss short game-winning field goals as routinely as the sun rises. How long will it be before Dan Bailey's spirit is crushed and broken? $50 says he misses his first kick on Sunday. Oof.
Oh.
I give him 6 weeks before he's roaming the Appalachian Trail, unshaven and rambling like a madman.
Unshaven.
I don't know why you do this to yourself, Uncle Louie.
Oh, thanks, Uncle Louie.
Yeah, thanks, Uncle Louie.
Appreciate you.
All right, man. So, new segment, Greg. Tell us about what we're doing.
We've got an exciting new segment today, and it's inspired by one of our favorite people here on the show, Kirk Cousins. All right. Not only is he an inspiration, an awesome man on the field, he's also making some moves off the field, and that's what's inspired this segment, which is the Chronicles of Kirk. All right, in this segment, we will follow Kirk Cousins' off-the-field activity because we do a good job of following his on-field activity here at the show regularly. He's inspired us in a lot of ways, all right? First, he patents the term, you Vike that, which is just perfectly...
Purely brilliant.
Yes, of course. He's going to make millions off of that. We know that he's into things like naps before late-night games. He's into science facts. And we've seen him on Football Life saying that he wishes his child had a British accent. I mean, he is a nerd. And what's inspired this one is our most recent encounter with this, which was a mattress commercial, in which Kirk Cousins was not just the spokesman for, but he was the star. I mean, he was sleeping in the bed as he was doing the voiceover, and he's like, "You gotta try these."
Right, you see it all the time where the football player is the celebrity spokesperson for Sleep Number. But Kirk is the actor. and I think, I could be wrong, but I think he actually insisted that the actor wife was his actual wife, Julie. I'm pretty sure that that's actually her in the commercial. And that he insisted that the only way he's doing the commercial is if she also plays his wife.
It just looks like, in most of those situations, you have the company that's paying hey, come and, can you be a spokesperson? And they're like, okay, you got Aaron Rodgers doing his funny stuff. But this just looked like Kirk Cousins begged to be on this thing. Was like, please, I've been dreaming of being an actor. But anyways, with the Chronicles of Kurt, we will keep you up to date with everything Kirk Cousins related that takes place off the field. We're sure there's going to be plenty more to come.
He is the most interesting man in the world.
He's the most interesting man in the world.
Clearly.
So keep tuned for the next segment.
Awesome. Cool, man. All right, so let's talk about the Buffalo Bills. Hopefully this game will be a little bit less of an emotional roller coaster, a little bit less stressful than the Packers game. I don't think I could handle another game like the Packers, but we've got the Bills coming up. It's in Minnesota. Bills are looking terrible. What are you thinking?
Man, ew. I mean, it should be good, right? I'm really hoping it's a relaxing game. I think the main opportunity I see for this game is a chance for all these like segues that are happening in our team to kind of come to fruition. I want to see Tom Johnson get a little bit of playing time. I think this is a good opportunity for him to do that. Maybe people like Iloka get in there and get a taste for the defense a little more. We get our new receiver out there running routes. Maybe Pat Elflein plays a little bit. We get our kicker, his feet wet with the whole Viking system, although I don't think there's a whole lot of a system for kickers, but just to kick a couple field goals. I mean, those are the things I'm really looking for. I'm kind of hoping that we just automatically win and I don't have to think about it. But yeah, those are the things I'm really looking for.
Yeah, I think my biggest concern really is just that we may not take it seriously. You know, we have the Rams coming up on Thursday night. It's a short week. Players and coaches are going to be tempted to be thinking ahead about the Rams, and I'm just a little bit worried that they may not focus quite as much as they need to on the Bills. And the other big thing I want to see is I want to see our running game get going, man. The running game has not been impressive so far this year. I just saw a stat, Pro Football Focus. Dalvin Cook is averaging 1/10 of a yard per carry before contact. He is getting hit in the backfield constantly. There are no holes. I don't think he's performing badly. I think he's making people miss, but the problem is he's doing it 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So, let's see if maybe against the Bills we can actually create some holes for the running game. And I would love to see Dalvin Cook run for 100 yards this game.
That would be great.
All right, man. So, if we lose this game, why are we going to lose?
If we lose, which we shouldn't, there shouldn't be any way we lose. If we lose, I think it's just a weird thing that's sitting in my mind. I think LaShawn McCoy has a good game, and that's how we lose if it happens. We've been struggling a little bit with open field tackling. He's a really shifty back. He hasn't had a good game so far this year, but I think it could just randomly, could happen. We could not be game planning for it because they don't have a great running game going right now. And I could just see him cutting us up, man, a little bit. I really hope that doesn't happen. But if it happens, I think that's how we lose. So how about what's the one thing we have to do to win this game?
Man, as long as we show up on time,
put our jerseys on,
and focus on the game, and don't get distracted thinking about the Rams. As long as we show up focused, I think we're gonna win this game. I think there's no possibility that we lose this game unless we fail to show up mentally. So, Greg, give me two predictions. One, I want your final score. And then two, Dan Bailey, is he going to make his first field goal or is he going to miss his first field goal as a Minnesota Viking?
Oh, my goodness. Why do you even say that? He's going to make his first field goal, all right? It was an extra point count?
No.
Okay. He makes his first field goal. Watch, our first one is like a 60-yard attempt before halftime. No, he's going to make his first field goal. I'm confident in that. I think the final score is 31-7 Vikings.
All right. I'm going to say, sadly, I think he's going to miss his first field goal. And then I think that we are going to somehow manage to lose this game because I think this has all the signs of a classic Vikings letdown. I'm going to say the final score is going to be 17-14 Bills. I obviously hope this isn't the case. I'm just a little bit concerned that between the emotion of the Packers game and the short week that we have coming up that our guys aren't going to show up. So that's my prediction. I hope I'm wrong.
Prediction.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, keep in tune for next week. We'll have our recap show coming up right after Sunday's game. Let's go Vikings. Skol, baby.
See you guys next week.